Hi, welcome to Couples Therapy Bites.
where we serve up bite-sized pieces of psychological education to make your relationship even better. I'm Steven.
I'm Erin.
And today we wanted to talk about divorce. Ooh, that feels like a heavy topic, but honestly, if you look at the statistics in our country, 50% of relationships end in divorce. And if you're probably honest with yourself, if you've been in a committed relationship or married for any period of time, you have thought about leaving that relationship. I know we sure have.
Absolutely.
And so it's an important thing to talk about. And so we wanted to talk about a process that might take place when people are thinking about ending their relationship.
It's definitely happened for me.
Mm-hmm.
We assume it's happened for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure it hasn't happened to you.
Oh, no. Not at all.
So this is a thing. We should name it at some point. But this was introduced to Steven by a professor he had named Andy Brimhall. He works where now? Eastern Carolina.
At ECU, yeah.
And it is something that is in lots of programs in the marriage and family world.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that there's 10 traits that you have looked for in a partner.
It could be any traits. There's not like
Absolutely.
any specific traits.
We literally had to Google traits to figure out what are things people are looking for. And you obviously haven't done this. You didn't, or maybe you have. But
things like physical attractiveness,
humor, mutual interest,
same family goals,
intelligence, career aspirations, romance, trustworthiness, respectful, emotional maturity. So these were some of the things we picked out for the purpose of this. Mm-hmm. And so the idea is that in your so Steven and I got married, and unknowingly in our minds we had filled this out. So I said, oh, physical attractiveness, I have this much of that piece of the pie filled out. This is how physically attractive I find Steven. Humor, not funny at all. Mutual interests. We have lots of mutual interests. Same family goals. We were kind of on the fence in the beginning about that. I mean, if we were
okay.
Intelligence.
I'd say we had the same family goals.
Intelligence. Super important to me, and I felt like he was really smart at the time. Career aspirations. That was hard for me. I have not always found Steven to be particularly ambitious. Romance.
I'm Mr. Romantic.
Trustworthy. I trust Steven completely.
Thank you.
I don't think you're romantic, but I trust you to not be romantic. Respectful. I mean, my goodness, so respectful. That one would probably be low if you were filling this out. Emotional maturity. Oh my goodness. Okay. So
I'm very emotionally mature.
I did put a 10 on that.
This is what our chart looks like.
That is what my chart looks like for Steven.
This is who I am, folks.
For me.
It's all of me.
And I don't know that. I'm not consciously thinking of this. But then what happens is I meet
Billy Bob at the office.
I was going to say Jose, because Billy Bob doesn't immediately appeal to me. But
I was making Billy Bob.
Jose, see, Steven already is trying to dog my dream guy. He, all of a sudden, I don't recognize it, but I'm feeling like, what's 4? Same family goals. Okay, 6. We'll do career aspirations. He is driven. Jose is like go-getter at work.
He's killing it. He's making money. He's climbing the ladder.
He's climbing the ladder, yeah, and he is impressive to me. And I am like, oh my goodness, Jose is just like really impressive. And I find myself thinking about Jose more and more and more. And
comparing Jose to me.
Yes. And I think he's who I want to be with.
Right, finding a place of dissatisfaction. Like, oh, see, this is why my partner isn't meeting my needs or isn't who I thought they were supposed to be.
And the more impressed I find myself with Jose, the more unimpressed I am with Steven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just not going anywhere. He doesn't even seem to care. And it becomes this thing. And suddenly I find myself kind of seeking Jose out. Sending more emails, responding to his emails, texting flirty things, whatever, however that works. Mm-hmm. And Jose and I end up together. Well, Jose and I now have this relationship, and it might be great for a little while. It might even be great for a couple of years.
Because Jose is meeting this need, this number 6 need,
he
in a
fills
much
my
more
entire piece of the pie.
right. And but maybe Jose isn't as emotionally mature as me. You know, maybe he's really low on the spectrum here. And then what will begin to happen is that will begin to be a place of dissatisfaction in Aaron's relationship with Jose.
I'm like, oh my gosh, he only has 2 pieces of my pie.
And then it'll be, but Billy Bob at the office, he is really emotionally mature. And you can kind of begin to see how the process of dissatisfaction about a particular relational dynamic begins to grow. And you begin to forget what Aaron might have forgotten with me is that look at all these pieces.
That's a lot of pie.
Right, that are filled. And there's a lot of satisfaction in this relationship.
There's a lot of satisfaction.
But these areas of dissatisfaction have become disproportionate.
Absolutely.
And so what happens in relationships is that partner who's dissatisfied begins to only focus on that area of dissatisfaction and thinking, how can I fill that? But then they fill that in another relationship, and then their pie chart changes, and there's all these other areas of dissatisfaction. And you might think like, oh yeah, but there's the perfect person out there, and that's the fallacy. There's no such thing. And the fallacy is that relationships between partners don't require hard work and don't require you to give and to take and to recognize that you're not going to get everything that you need and want from your partner. You can get a lot of things, but you might not get everything. And so you need to be able to work on these areas of dissatisfaction. So rather than, Aaron going and hooking up with Jose about career, we need to talk about that. And she might say, hey, this is an area that I'm frustrated with you, which we have talked about. And that has caused me to adjust in some ways, but you know what? Not fully to Aaron's satisfaction, I would say.
That's right. It's still like a little bit of the pie.
Right. And so I think this is the dynamic that takes place oftentimes when people start looking elsewhere for another partner who will meet all their needs perfectly.
Yes, you focus. It's an exercise in focus and an exercise in gratitude. So looking at your pie, looking at your person, and recognizing all the needs they do meet, all the places where there is so much satisfaction, and being grateful for those, spending your time, energy, and effort focusing on those. And I think the word proportion is exactly right. Recognizing that the areas where it's lesser, it's just small areas.
Yeah. So I wonder for you, in your relationship, what are your top 10? What does your pie chart look like? How does your partner fulfill or meet those areas? And then what are the areas of dissatisfaction that you find you begin to focus on? And maybe you're focusing on really intently right now. Maybe you're really considering, oh, this relationship isn't for me because of this area of dissatisfaction. So do this. Have your partner do it and then discuss it. Talk about it.
Have an honest relationship. Be sensitive in discussing this because these are hard things. I want to believe that Stephen's pie chart would be filled, but I know that's not true. Right. So be kind, be sensitive.
Yeah. And comment below. We'd love to know how this exercise goes for you. And we'd love to interact with you around it. We can interact with you more about how this pie chart works for us as well, if you'd like. So comment below, subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.